Surveillance. When L starts to suspect Light, he secretly sets up cameras and microphones all over the Yagami house. Every room is being watched, especially Light's bedroom, because L thinks he might catch him acting like Kira. Light quickly realizes he's being watched. He knows that if he kills criminals the normal way, the cameras will notice, so he comes up with a clever way to keep working without getting caught. Light buys a small portable TV and hides it inside a bag of potato chips. He keeps the bag nearby while he studies, looking totally normal for the cameras. With one hand, he writes names in a piece of the death note hidden inside his notebook, and with the other hand, he sneaks glances at the live news on the TV in the chip bag. This way, he can see the criminals' faces and write their names without acting suspicious or stopping what he's doing. During this whole time, Light keeps his normal study habits, sits the same way, and stays calm so the cameras don't notice anything unusual. After a while, the surveillance ends because the investigators decide that Light couldn't have committed the killings while being watched so closely. Penber Gambit. Light Yagami notices that the FBI has sent agents to watch him, and Ray Penber is the one following him closely. To get rid of this threat and take full control, Light comes up with a plan using the death note and how people think and react. He creates a public problem by using a criminal to hijack a bus full of passengers. The plan of all this is to get Ray Penber real identity so that he can eliminate him with the death note. After the bus situation is resolved, Light meets Ray on the train, pretending it's just a normal meeting. Using the death note, he shows Ray that he has power, making it clear that if Ray doesn't do what he says, he will die. Light forces Ray to write down the names of all the FBI agents who are following him. He uses Ray's fear and the rules of the death note to get rid of the surveillance without attacking the FBI directly. Because of this plan, all the agents watching Light die in a controlled way, and no one is left to get in his way. Silent kill. Naomi Misora, a former FBI agent and Ray Penber's partner, starts investigating the strange deaths of criminals after Ray is killed while following Light. She wants to find out who Kira really is because of her connection to Ray and how suspicious his death was. Light reaches out to Naomi, pretending to be a stranger who wants to help her catch Kira. He gives her information that makes him look like he knows a lot about the investigation, so she trusts him. During their talk, Light carefully leads the conversation to get important information from Naomi. Using clever tactics, he convinces her to tell him her real name, which he needs to use the death note. Once he has her full name, Light writes it in the death note and sets the cause of death to seem natural so no one will get suspicious. Naomi dies before she can reveal Light's identity, and the danger she posed to him as Kira is gone. Switch game. After the investigation into Kira gets more serious and the task force starts closing in on him, Light Yagami comes up with a plan to make sure no one suspects him. He gives up ownership of the death note, which makes him lose all his memories of being Kira. Without these memories, he can't write names or carry out Kira's actions, so he looks completely innocent to the task force and the investigators. To make this seem even more real, Light lets the task force lock him up. While he's being held, he acts like a normal suspect, cooperating and showing no strange behavior. Since he doesn't have the death note and can't remember using it, the task force decides he couldn't have been the one killing criminals and starts looking at other suspects instead. After some time, Light carefully gets back in contact with the death note. When he touches it again, all his memories of being Kira come back immediately. Now with his memory restored, he can continue his original plans while still looking innocent. The task force doesn't know he has his memories back, so he can keep controlling events and getting rid of threats without anyone suspecting him. Fake book. After getting his memories back and starting to work as Kira again, Light Yagami knows he has to keep the real death note hidden from the task force. To do this, he uses fake rules he had written in the real notebook before to trick the investigators and make them believe certain things about how Kira works. Light carefully sets up these fake rules like the 13-day rule, which says someone dies if they do not kill within 13 days, and the ownership transfer rule, which says that giving up the notebook makes you forget everything before. Letting the task force find Higuchi's notebook. When the investigators study these rules in the notebook, it slows them down from figuring out that Light is Kira, giving him more time to continue his plan. Death bond. Light Yagami knows that L is the only person who can really threaten him as Kira. He also notices that Misa Amane, who has a death note herself, is being watched closely by Rem, the Shinigami who follows her. Rem really cares about Misa and will do anything to protect her life. Light uses this to his advantage. He convinces Misa to put herself in situations where Rem would have to step in to protect her. Because Rem will always protect someone he cares about, Light knows that Rem will kill anyone who threatens Misa, even L and Watari. perfectly. Light sets things up so that L and Watari are in positions where Rem has no choice but to act to protect Misa. Rem kills both L and Watari with the Death Note, removing the biggest threats to Light's identity. With L gone, Light can continue his work as Kira without anyone close to exposing him. Kira's hand. In the final part of the story, Light Yagami picks Teru Mikami, a very loyal Kira supporter who is also very disciplined, to act as his helper. Light watches Mikami closely to make sure he is smart, serious, and completely dedicated to Kira. He chooses Mikami because he knows Mikami will follow every instruction perfectly. Light gives Mikami the real Death Note and tells him exactly how to use it to keep killing criminals while staying secret. Mikami follows the plan exactly, sticking to a strict schedule and making no mistakes that could reveal their connection. By using Mikami as a helper, Light stays far away from the actual killings, which protects his identity from the investigators. Mikami acts in a way that looks just like Kira's previous pattern, but he follows everything Light says. This system lets Light control everything from a distance, so it looks like Kira is still active, but no one can link the killings directly to him. Every action Mikami takes is directed by Light, giving Light almost complete control while he gets ready for the final showdown with Nier and the task force. Checkmate. In the final part of the story, Light Yagami makes a very detailed plan to get rid of anyone who could stop him and make sure he stays Kira. With Teru Mikami acting as his helper, Light controls every action, every move, and the timing of everything to make sure his plan goes perfectly. The plan is to lure Nier and the task force to a place that Light controls, pretending it's a chance to catch Kira. Light tells Mikami to follow a strict schedule when using the Death Note so that the killings happen at exactly the right times. This is meant to make it look like Kira is working in a certain way and to give Light an advantage. Light's plan also uses tricks, like the fake notebooks, decoys, and Mikami following instructions perfectly to keep everything secret. The goal is to get rid of threats, separate Nier from the task force, and create a chance to take out all opposition at once. But Nier figures out a mistake in Light's plan. Nier switches the Death Note that Mikami has with a fake one, stopping the planned killings from happening. When Mikami tries to carry out the plan, the task force and Nier step in, showing that Light was controlling everything. Even though Light planned it all carefully, Nier exposes him, takes the real Death Note, and defeats him, ending his control completely.